not subscribed to our channel, you can do so by clicking the subscribe button as shown above. Hello friends, welcome to Kamath Astrology. In today's video, we are going to talk about Venus transit in the sign of Aries or Mesh from 23rd May 2022 to 18th June 2022. Now in the sign of Mesh or Aries, Rahu is already present and Venus is going to join Rahu in this sign on 23rd May 2022, and he is going to remain in Mesh till 18th June 2022. So this is a very short but significant transit. We will try to analyze its general impact as well as the impact on every ascendant. So first, let us understand what is Venus. What does Venus or Shukra signify? Shukra or Venus signifies partnerships, signifies romance, signifies marriage, signifies sexual organs. Shukra also signifies diplomacy, business relations. Shukra also signifies the way you look at things in the world, the way you look at the opposite sex. Shukra also represents our eyes. Now let us understand what Rahu signifies. Rahu signifies obsession, greed, cheating, overworking to attain something, crossing the boundaries set by the society, bypassing established norms to achieve something. And what is Uranus? There is a planet Uranus also here. Uranus signifies suddenness. Uranus signifies eccentricity. Uranus signifies innovation. Now, where exactly is this conjunction occurring? It is occurring in the first sign in the zodiac belt, that is the sign of Aries or Mesh. And therefore, what does it indicate? Aries or Mesh indicates a new beginning, initiating something new, starting something new, because it is the first sign in the zodiac belt. So what is this conjunction going to initiate? It is going to initiate new relationships. It is going to initiate new partnerships. How are these relationships going to be initiated? They are going to be initiated suddenly. That is, suddenly someone will come into your life and enter into a relationship with you. This is because of Uranus. Now there is Rahu also present. And Rahu indicates obsession. So you might get so attracted to this relationship that because of being obsessed, you might do something wrong, you might go overboard. And therefore, in this time, it is very essential that when we deal with the opposite sex, especially in our workplace, we need to be very careful. You should not pick up fights with members of the opposite sex in this time period. Otherwise, it can get you into great trouble. And especially, you need to be more careful after June 5th, 2022, because at that time, Saturn is going to go retrograde. And Saturn is aspecting this combination. Whenever Saturn puts his third aspect on a sign, it indicates some karmic past relationship, especially when Saturn goes retrograde. So such a past relationship may come back into your life. So one thing that this transit tells us is not to go overboard in relationships, in partnerships. If you have a girlfriend also, be very careful. Don't go overboard. Otherwise, you could be accused of doing something which you didn't intend to do. Now Rahu is also cheating. So the person you might get into a relationship with, you might get obsessed with that person, and that person can take advantage of the situation and cheat you. So the message is, whatever new relationship you are getting into, be very careful. Don't go overboard. Don't overstep the boundaries. Now, Venus also represents the urinary tract, the sexual organs, and Rahu represents obsession, When Rahu comes with Venus, it is quite possible that a person will be obsessed with sexual desires. And remember, these things are going to bring about a downfall in your life if you cross a certain boundary. So that is where you need to be absolutely careful. Rahu also indicates diseases. So in this time, diseases related to the urinary tract infections, those will increase. Sexually related diseases will also increase in this time. Another reason is you can see Venus is completely trapped in the Rahu Ketu axis. And on either side, there are some malefics such as Sun and Mars, as well as benefics such as Jupiter and Mercury. Now, without wasting much time, let us analyze the impact on every ascendant. So, I am talking about the general impact. You do have to take your own specific Mahadashas and Antardashas into consideration before arriving at any final conclusion about yourself. So, now let us begin with the Aries ascendant or the Mesh ascendant. Now, for the Aries ascendant or Mesh Lagna, this conjunction is occurring in your first house. That is the house representing your physical self. And in the seventh house, you have Ketu present. So, the Rahu in the first house is going to draw you towards some new relationship. And Ketu in the seventh house is going to give some kind of disappointment later in that relationship. So, this is not a very good time for new partnerships. You might go overboard and make some serious mistakes which you will regret later. So, if you are having an extramarital affair, please do not fall for this trap. Otherwise, you are going to suffer in a big way. So, for the Aries ascendant, you need to look at the relationship with your spouse as well as any other relationships that you are having, especially with the opposite sex. So be careful about dealing with relationships in this time. And especially you might find that this new relationship is coming from within your family. You might get attracted to someone in your family. For the Taurus ascendant or the Vrushabh Lagna, this is not a very good transit for your health. You can see that your ascendant lord has moved 12th from itself, right? And so this time is challenging for your health because in the 6th house also you have Ketu. So the 6-12 axis is getting activated. So if you have certain diseases such as diabetes, high BP, hypertension, those might get aggravated in this time period. You might be tempted to eat sweets, to eat food which actually does not suit your health and which can land you in problem, in trouble or in a hospital. So for the Taurus ascendant, focus on your health. Take care of what you are eating in this time period. Expenses can also be high in this time period if you don't pay attention to your health. Now for the Gemini ascendant or the Mithun Lagna, this combination is going to give you certain financial gains. You might gain from foreign connections in this time period. But try to avoid traveling to a foreign country or getting into some kind of relationship in a foreign country with the opposite sex person. That might land you in trouble. But you can definitely make gains through your foreign contacts, through your foreign connections. Also, if you have invested in speculative investments, it may show you an illusory gain in this time period, but later on, that investment might dip suddenly. So be careful in what you are investing your money. Avoid traveling to foreign countries in this time period, is the message for the Gemini ascendant. Also, do not trust your friends blindly in this time period because the 12th lord is moving into the 11th house. So some losses can come to you through a friend. Now for the Cancer ascendant or Karka Lagna, this combination is occurring in your 10th house of profession, of career. And Cancer is a very emotional sign. So this combination can get you entangled in a new relationship which causes your emotions to fluctuate a lot, and that might cause some turbulence, some emotional disturbance in your life. So be careful when you are interacting with the opposite sex people in your workplace. Also, some property related disputes might come to the fore in this time. Problems with mother can happen in this time. Mother's health can also get affected in this time. So be careful with respect to the kind of relationships you are creating in your workplace, as well as when you are dealing with your mother or with your mother's health. For the Leo ascendant, Venus is your third lord as well as your 10th lord of profession, and he is moving into the ninth house, which deals with bosses, gurus. So when you are dealing with your female bosses, with gurus or bosses of the opposite sex, be very careful. Do not get into a fight with them. Otherwise, you will land into deep trouble in this time period. Also, some kind of relationship issues with your siblings or neighbors can occur in this time period. So be cognizant of this fact and deliberately try to avoid such issues consciously. Now for the Virgo ascendant or the Kanya Lagna, this combination is occurring in your 8th house of sudden events. So suddenly some new relationship might come into your life, and you might get very much attracted to this relationship. Because Venus is your ninth lord, you could get attracted to your boss or a very senior person in your workplace, and that could cause problems later. Because Venus is your second lord and Ketu is already present in the second house, some kind of financial problems can also occur in this time period. So be aware of the kind of relationship you are having with your bosses in this time period, as well as try to save money and take care of your finances in this time period. That is the advice for Virgo ascendant or Kanya Lagna. Now for the Tula Lagna or the Libra ascendant, this combination is occurring in your 7th house. So again, with respect to relationships with your spouse, with respect to any extramarital relationship which you may have, try to avoid it and be careful in this time period. Venus is your 8th lord as well as your first lord, moving in the 7th house with Rahu and Uranus, which indicates sudden problems in business partnerships, sudden problems with respect to spouse or girlfriend. You may also face certain problems with respect to in-laws in this time period. Wealth might come to you through insurance, through inheritance in this time period. Now let us move to the Scorpio ascendant or the Vrishicka Lagna. This combination is occurring in the 6th house of diseases, of enemies. So in this time period, you need to be careful of diseases related to the urinary tract, related to the sexual organs. It is also possible that in this time period, you might get into a sudden fight with your spouse, with your partner, or with your girlfriend or boyfriend in this time period. And because Venus is the 12th lord for the Scorpio ascendant, this can also lead to separation. So be very careful when you are dealing with your spouse, with your business partner, or with your girlfriend in this time period. Now for the Sagittarius ascendant or the Dhanu Lagna, definitely some kind of love is on the cards for you. Either an old friend or someone new is going to enter your life and cause a relationship with you. But you need to be very careful while getting involved in this relationship. Because Venus is the 6th lord in the 5th house, which means that love affairs can put you into trouble. Venus is also the 11th lord in the 5th house, indicating some friend will come into your life due to a past karma, and that relationship may later give you some trouble. So be careful. For the Capricorn ascendant or Makar Lagna, some new kind of relationship in your work environment may be started, and you need to be very careful with this new relationship in which you are going to indulge. You might have a very nice time traveling in cars, going out with your partner, but as I mentioned earlier, do not overstep the boundaries, stay within your limits, and things will be fine for you. Now let us move to the Aquarius ascendant or the Kumbh Lagna. This combination is occurring in the 3rd house, and therefore this new relationship can come through a neighbor, it can come through a sibling, but again be careful when you are indulging in this new relationship. When you are dealing with a female boss or a senior person, be careful about the way you are interacting with that person, because that can get you into a lot of trouble if you are not careful in this time period. Aquarius is the sign which always tries to take shortcuts in life, and Rahu is that planet which encourages you to take those shortcuts, and Saturn is right now aspecting that Rahu, and your Venus is with that Rahu. So don't try to cross the boundary, stay within your limits. Now for the Pisces ascendant or the Meen Lagna, this combination can bring sudden problems with respect to your siblings or neighbors. Your relationship with your siblings or neighbors can get strained in this time period. So be careful about this. Your financial position may suddenly improve in this time period. You might get a lot of money in this time period. Now there were some other things in the general impact which I forgot to mention. Now Venus also represents creativity. He represents music, he represents dance, he represents arts. So if you are indulging in any kinds of arts, music, dancing or similar activities, any creative activity, Rahu gives a boost to those activities. And therefore this is a good time to bring out your creative spirit, to do something new, to indulge in something new, but remember never to cross the boundaries. Also, Venus represents people in the film industry, the film line, the glamour industry, and Rahu here will represent cheating, will represent scams. So scams related to the film industry, people in the film industry, people in the glamour industry, music industry, all those will also come out in this time period because Venus is within the Rahu Ketu axis. So many such scams related to people working in the film industry, the kind of relationships they have with each other, all those things can come out in this time period suddenly because of this Rahu Venus Uranus combination in the sign of Aries or Mesh. So friends, I hope you liked this video. I have done the general impact analysis as well as the ascendant wise analysis. Now our contact details are given in this slide. For any consultations, please email us at astrosevaworld@yahoo.com and we'll be glad to assist you. To know more about us, you can visit our website astroseva.tripod.com. Once again, if you are not subscribed to our channel, please do so by clicking the subscribe button. So friends, thanks a lot. Bye, take care and stay safe.